Welcome to Community Engagement, Solidarity, and Citizenship, CSC, Week 3. Our learning competency for this week will be coming from the most essential learning competencies or MELCs of the Department of Education, and this is: analyze functions of communities in terms of structures, dynamics, and processes. Our learning objectives for this week are the following. 1. Explain the importance of studying community dynamics and community action in relation to applied social sciences and the learner's future career options. 2. Compare and contrast the definitions of community using options. 3. Develop and affirm a sense of shared identity and willingness to contribute to the attainment of the common good. Our learning topics for this week are the following. 1. What is power? 2. What is community power? 3. Leadership. And 4. Community dynamics. Discussion. The dominant analytical approaches in studying community dynamics and processes focus on the community power relations, leadership, and social change. There are two kinds of power structures in a community. 1. Formal power structure. It is the legal authoritative basis of elected and appointed government officials and leaders of civic organizations. 2. Informal power structure. Exists alongside the formal institutional power structure. It is harder to empirically identify, but it is an equally significant factor in a community's development. Power. To some, it's a dirty word. Often the term translates into leaders telling community members what to do or manipulating situations for their own benefit. At the very least, the idea holds a negative undertone for most people. Still, power plays a necessary role in all communities. Power within communities involves the distribution of resources or the lack thereof. Because of its connection to resources, power within communities may lead to confrontation, conflict, or even a political divide. But it doesn't have to. Empowerment, the ability to enable or share power, can be encouraged within the community context. Continue reading, and we will share with you a traditional definition of community power, how to outline a community's power structure, and a process on how to bring the right power players to the table. What is community power? In general, community power can be defined as the ability to affect the distribution of both public and private resources within a community. How the distribution occurs depends upon the community. Traditionally, there are two distinct approaches to community power: elitist and pluralist. Elitist. The elitist position perceives community life as controlled by a small group of leaders with economic or political power who initiate, direct, and resolve most public decision-making. In this perspective, citizen participation in community affairs either doesn't exist or is limited to efforts applied through a few relatively powerless voluntary associations. Pluralist. The pluralist position sees power as spread among a handful of organized community groups with control shifting according to the issues rather than repeated control of a single group across all community issues. The role of citizen participation in this perspective is not completely clear. Still, great emphasis is placed upon democracy in influencing political leaders and community member engagement through various community organizations. Often power within a community can be enhanced by connections found outside the community, other leaders, groups, or organizations external to the community. These collaborations can help expand resources available to the community and in turn affect the power structure within the community. Ultimately, who possesses the power and how widely available it is to citizen participants significantly affects the quality of life in a community. Legal authoritative decision-makers are individuals or bodies whose authority is based on formal rules and institutions. City mayors, legislative council members, and barangay captains are examples of legal authoritative decision-makers in the Philippine communities. Typically, legal authoritative decision-makers occupy positions of authority through legally mandated processes like elections or through formal political appointments. Leadership. Leadership is the ability of an individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization. Leadership involves making sound and sometimes difficult decisions, creating and articulating a clear vision, establishing achievable goals and providing followers with the knowledge and tools necessary to achieve those goals. Social change. Social change is a concept many of us take for granted or don't really even understand. No society has ever remained the same. Change is always happening. We accept change as inevitable, and it is, end of story, right? Well, not exactly. Sociologists define social change as changes in human interactions and relationships that transform cultural and social institutions. These changes occur over time and often have profound and long-term consequences for society. Community dynamics. The community dynamics data gives valuable insight into how people feel about the place they live in and can shape decisions about which services are offered in particular neighborhoods. Community dynamics. Likewise, what is community in social science perspective? If you mean a social science perspective of community, I favor Durkheim's analysis. From a systems perspective, a community is similar to a living creature, comprising different parts that represent specialized functions, activities, or interests, each operating within specific boundaries to meet community needs. Community dynamics. Community dynamics are the changes in community structure and composition over time. Sometimes these changes are induced by environmental disturbances such as volcanoes, earthquakes, storms, fires, and climate change. Communities with a stable structure are said to be at equilibrium. What factors result to community dynamics? Community structure and dynamics are likely a result of many processes including demographics, energy cycling, habitat disturbance, and the influence of other populations. Brown and Moorer, 1987, Moorer and Brown, 1988, Wiens, 1989. What is the purpose of community action? Community action is about putting communities at the heart of their own local services. Involving communities in the design and delivery of services can help to achieve a number of objectives, including building community and social capacity, helping the community to share knowledge, skills and ideas. What is the importance of understanding your community dynamics and community action? Community dynamics is the change and development involved in a community that includes all forms of living organisms. Community action is putting communities as the center of the services development and services delivery. This initiative aims to cater the primary needs of the communities before implementing it. Thank you for watching. For more videos, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for more updates.